What? Get your celebration on, Mile High City. The streak is over. Denver Broncos victorious over the Kansas City Chiefs. Going to break it all down. Denver Sports post game live. Let's count this thing down. And oh my goodness, they did it. They did it. What does this mean for the Denver Broncos? Let's enjoy this game. Okay, let's enjoy what's going on here. I would advise everyone to perhaps pump the brakes on the trade stuff, not because it's not interesting, not because this win might change some things for the Denver Broncos, but at this time, at this point, it's a post-game show. It's not a pre-trade deadline show. So enjoy it. Rejoice as the Denver Broncos, now winners of back-to-back games, and they did it. They did it, everybody. The Denver Broncos beat the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday in Week 8, breaking the 16-game streak that the Chiefs had against them. It's been since Peyton Manning was their quarterback. It's been a long time and a long road, and Pat Mahomes has dealt his first loss against the Denver Broncos. 24-9, the final score. And honestly, with the way the refs were, it could have been a larger margin of victory for the Denver Broncos. So let's all rejoice. The trade stuff's going to be the trade stuff, okay? And I don't want to be a Debbie Downer because I know a lot of people are going to be interested in, like, what does this mean and what's next? Enjoy the flipping game. Enjoy the game. Enjoy the win. These have been rare. And this is their first meaningful win of the season. And before you get all offended, one, don't be ridiculous and get offended over everything. And two, just realize I was at SpawnCon earlier today, and I was talking to a big Broncos fan, a full-time firefighter here in Denver. And it was like, yeah, but they won, and there are a couple games they should have won. I'm like, yeah, that's all true. That's all true. But the couple of games they should have won were against a lousy Raiders team. Commanders are better than you think. Certainly took Philadelphia to the brink today. But the win over Chicago's terrible. The win over the Packers are terrible. This, my friends, in Broncos country, is a meaningful win for many, many reasons. And yes, that meaning does extend also into the trades that could possibly not happen now for the Denver Broncos. But you see a complete game from the Broncos. The special teams has been on point for most of this season, right? Little things here and there. Certainly the way it started with Tremont Smith on the, onside kick, the very first kick to open the season. So it hasn't been 100% perfect the entire season, but for the most part, the special teams has been really, really good for this Broncos team. But the defense has had problems. The offense has had problems. They've had flashes, to be sure. But those flashes didn't mean anything when the Broncos kept losing. But now winners of back-to-back games over the Packers and now over the Kansas City Chiefs. And this one feels good, man. This one feels good. I mean, I know some of y'all tune in to see me lose my mind and get an ulcer over this Broncos team. Obviously, that's not going to happen today. And they did it by running the damn ball. Okay. And it may not be what Sean Payton wants to do. All right. But he wants to win, right? It may not be, the flashiest for Russell Wilson, although he did have those 3 touchdown passes. It doesn't matter if you win. The best recipe, and this is what I guess is frustrating. I guess maybe I will lose my mind a little bit tonight. I apologize. And again, I want you all to have fun. Be safe and responsible with your partying. You know what I mean? But here's what's frustrating. They should have been doing this from day one. You would have had 2 more wins against the Commanders, against the Raiders. The Dolphins game, they still would have waxed you. Whatever. Okay? But you would have had 2 more wins if you just ran the damn ball. And that balance, F balance. That's what Sean Payton said today. 12 of 19 passing. But when 12 passes are completed and 3 of them are for touchdowns, it's a pretty good margin. Also, 6 sacks for Russell Wilson. Got to clean that up. Russell Wilson running those 8 times for 30 yards, but it is the 27 hero-like carries for Javonte Williams. Now, you may look at the 3.1 yards a carry, but yeah, at the end of the game, when he's getting tackled behind the line of scrimmage, I mean, his rushing was key. Should anyone be surprised? This is how you win. And going into this season, and again, it's not about me being right or anything. I've been wrong on plenty. I will try to be as right as possible on as many projections that I have. But heading into the season, I had said, yeah, that's going to, you're going to run the ball. You're going to play great defense. It's going to be ugly. This game wasn't ugly because it's glorious because you beat the Chiefs. But like, this is the formula. Maybe not 19 passes. Okay. You could give Russ 20 passes. And I often thought 20 to 25 was the number. 20 to 25 passes, that's what you get for Russell Wilson. And then you run the hell out of the ball, 35 carries, whatever the number is, and you make it happen and you win, just like you did today. 24-9, the final score. So 27 carries, 85 yards. I really wanted him to get 100. I really, really wanted Javonte to get 100 yards. I'm not upset that he didn't because, again, they got the win. But here's the thing. When you go into the season, you have 34 attempts against the Raiders. Wrong. 32 attempts against Washington. Wrong. Now 38 against Miami, but you're down to that game. So whatever, like that's just going to happen. The nature of that game. 28 against the Bears. Okay. Well, you won that game. So there you go. That's right. And honestly, again, 20 to 25, 28's a little much, but whatever. 31 against the Jets. Wrong. 22 against KC. Well, that's the right number, but you didn't run the ball. And you didn't get the turnovers that you did today. Let's shout out that Broncos defense. I'll get there in just a little bit. But 20 and 29 last week against the Packers, that's not your recipe every single week. It led to a win over the Packers. But again, the Packers are terrible. And one thing that we have to do is just call it like we see it. This is a great win for the Broncos. It's a great win for the fan base. Yeah, this is your Super Bowl. Okay. And Chiefs fans, whatever. You guys will push for the Super Bowl. I'm sick and tired of hearing Chiefs fans. They're super annoying. Didn't win anything for most of my life because even though I'm old, I wasn't alive when they won their first Super Bowl. So like Chiefs fans, terrible for most of my life. They're really excellent now in the Pat Mahomes era. And now you got to hear from all the time. Watch the damn commercials. It's some, I'm Travis Kelce, everybody. Like, Travis, sure. Take the money and run, buddy. But it's like in the Pat Mahomes in the subway, like the Chiefs are just like thrown in your face. So like, okay, you're going to talk, whatever, but the Broncos won today. And that's what I really want to focus on. I'm going to write about what's next. Okay, that's coming up on Mile High Monday, denversports.com. But today in this show, it's a flipping post-game show. Enjoy the game. We don't need to look ahead. We don't need to think about like, oh, this is going to change things. And now maybe you don't trade Jerry Jeudy. I would love for Jerry Jeudy to be traded away. I would love it. I would applaud it. I would root for Jerry Jeudy and whatever destination he goes to. But I want to see more of Marvin Mims. But again, today, this game, we don't have to do that, baby. All right. And I understand it is part of the conversation. I don't want to squash anybody's dreams of me talking about what's next for the Broncos at the trade deadline. But in reality, it's like, I think just in football and life, we don't enjoy the moment enough. Because like, what does it mean? I had a really good day today. Well, what does it mean? Like, okay, can we enjoy this? Can we just have fun? Can we just say this doesn't happen often? It's been 16 games. The streak is over. This is not a drill, as my man, Zach Birdman would say. Like, this is not a drill. The Denver Broncos have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs, and it is glorious, and they did it because they played a balanced, all three phases balanced. They didn't remember balanced offensively. 40 carries. There is no balance there whatsoever, okay? And I'm fine with that. If you basically had 59 plays and if, 20 of them are rushes, you're going to run 40 times, 35, 40 rushes, 20 to 25 passes. That's your recipe for success. Play great defense, get after the quarterback, put Pat Mahomes under duress, and then pick him off when you don't. They showed the numbers on the screen. I don't think I screen grabbed it at the time. Perhaps I could or should for one of my articles coming up, my 3 observations, Denver Sports and Mile High Monday, Denver Sports. But it's like, and through advanced data, you've learned like, don't blitz Pat Mahomes. You try to get pressure with a minimal amount of players. But when he's keeping plays alive and you have guys hustling out there, Baron Browning hustling, Nick Bonito hustling, Jonathan Cooper hustling, Even Zach Allen had a great day, and Zach Allen has not been good this year. All right, just bottom line. It's not because he has his own way in the locker room when he talks to the media, and it's pretty abrupt. Let's just say that. Like, that has nothing to do with it. Zach Allen, just from a football standpoint, hasn't been good this year. He was good today. He was exceptional today. And I think that goes in with Nick Bonito. Relentless. Jonathan Cooper. Relentless. Baron Browning. You know what I'm going to say. Relentless. And you love seeing that because Mahomes is going to extend the play. These are not necessarily coverage sacks. That when you say coverage sack, it almost kind of takes away from the performance of the defender who got the sack. Oh, well, that's just a coverage sack. Well, yeah, wait a second. You can cover all day. If your guy doesn't get it done and doesn't get to the passer, then what does it matter? That's not a coverage sack if you're just covering all day and the quarterback runs out of bounds or throws it away or whatever. Like, no, a coverage sack is still a sack. We should not say, oh, well, these are just coverage sacks because Mahomes held on to the ball forever. Like, no, he did hold on to the ball longer than he normally does. And those guys made him pay. I was watching specifically the quarterback hunting skills of Baron Browning, and he's back. It's really good to see. You didn't see it last week. In fact, you had the penalties last week from Baron Browning, something I wrote about, something I talked about, Denver Sports. And like this week, you see a sharpened skill of just shaking off the rust against the Packers, coming out in this game, really performing at a high level. It was fantastic to see. It was fun to see. Honestly, it's what you need to see. And if you're the Broncos, like, this is what you do going forward. Who do you do it with? Right now, I don't really care. Like, in this moment, right now, we are minutes from this victory, right? I started this show 12 minutes ago. 12 minutes ago, I pressed go here on StreamYard, and we are going. In 12 minutes, I'm not going to be like, oh, that felt great. What's next? No, this feels flipping awesome to beat the Kansas City Chiefs because it has been so long and because of the way that they did it. It's not that the Chiefs were playing Charlie mess around as I spit up all over my screen. It's not like the Chiefs were playing mess around like they did the last time on the Thursday night game. And then, oh, Denver's there. And then they like win at the end because Kansas City misses a field goal. Denver went and took it from them. Denver went defensively and took it from them. And that, my friends, is the sign of a quality win. That's why this is the most meaningful win. And not just because it's the Chiefs or whatever, but like the other wins are just, the Packers are terrible. The Bears are terrible. The Chiefs are potentially Super Bowl champions again. As much as you hate them, and I hate them, can't stand Chiefs fans and all that. I don't know if anyone thinks this is a Chiefs jersey, by the way. This is my comic book company, Smoking Gun Comics. So before anyone gets all upset, because I just noticed, I was like, wait a second, I'm wearing black and red, but that's my company. So yeah, there you go. Again, I was at SpawnCon. So anyway, like, no, dude, they went and they took it. They kicked their ass. And you saw heart from this team, man. It's been there. And again, that's where my frustration and kind of thoughts aren't with the trade deadline and what's next and George Payton. Like, forget George Payton. Literally forget George Payton. But like, no, I don't care. You know what my mind's on now is the guys that I see fight and sweat and bleed every flipping day at practice. You get to see it on the field now. Because there's stuff I've seen at practice, and we can't say anything or whatever, and then I'll try to say some stuff, and then people are like, well, what do you think about Broncos now? This is what you see. Collective heart from guys like Courtland Sutton. How in the hell did he make that catch? Seriously, Court, man, that was a magic man right there. Are you kidding me? Courtland Sutton? So again, do I want to think about Courtland Sutton getting traded? No, I don't. Do I want Jerry Jeudy to get traded? Yes, I do. But you see the collective heart. And by the way, the Jeudy touchdown could have been called the other way. And honestly, I wasn't surprised it wasn't. Because these refs suck. The refs are totally slanted towards the Kansas City Chiefs. They totally give the Chiefs the benefit of the doubt. That's why on some of the hits from Baron Browning on Mahomes, after he'd throw it, I was like, oh, please don't throw a flag. Like, you knew it was going to happen. You knew it was coming. And it didn't. But at times, these refs were trying to hand Kansas City the game. And I've always said it, even when it pisses me off. And sorry for the YouTube overlords. You said a naughty word. Like, even though it pisses me off, I've always said good teams overcome bad refs. The refs are terrible. The refs are totally slanted towards the Chiefs. And again, I could say this because I'm not a Broncos fan. So any Chiefs fan, if you're watching, one, go listen to Tech 9 and eat on your barbecue. Okay, you'll be fine. The Chiefs fans, you'll be fine. You take the L on the way out. You leave in the Mile High City. We got the snow. We got the blizzard coming in. It was rough this morning, by the way, getting out to Aurora. But like, you got the snow. You take that L on the way out. So get them out of here. The Chiefs and the Chiefs fans, like, be quiet. Nonsense. Enough. This is the Broncos' day. This is their day. You may win the Super Bowl. You may win obviously you're going to win the AFC West, like whatever. Like, you may do these other things. But today, on this day, October 29th, it is the Broncos' day. And the Broncos kicked your ass. They didn't just barely win. They kicked your ass. It should have been more. It should have been more. Could have been more had not the officials gotten in the way. And yes, the Judy touchdown could have come off the board because honestly, I didn't think he had control. Again, I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not sitting here and being a Broncos homer. I know there's a couple of, well, more than a couple. There's morons on Twitter who be like, you big Broncos homer. You're like blowing bubbles at them. I'm like, I'm not a Broncos fan. I'll tell you that Jerry Jeudy touchdown did not look like a touchdown. Did not look like he caught it and then gathered it. And when he gathered it, that second foot did not get in bounds. But they called it a touchdown. So whatever. All right. All I know is the officials are horrible. They need full-time refs. But either way, this is the Broncos' day. And you see the collective heart. Yes, even from Russell Wilson. And I know I talked to plenty of Broncos fans this weekend. And it's like, oh, yeah, he's fake. He's a cheese ball. Like, today's a winner. Okay? Today, you can be proud that Russell Wilson's your quarterback because he did what he had to do to win in this game. He wasn't perfect. He wasn't flawless. He got sacked a lot. Got the hell beat out of him. And I honestly thought on one of his slides where he slid inbound to keep the clock running. Again, smart play. Heady football, right? Oh, he's a cheese ball. Yeah. Smart play. Okay? Because a lot of guys that ran out of bounds stopped the clock, now Kansas City has some time. So he slid inbounds, and when he did it, I don't know if he got kicked in the yarbles, onions, whatever I got to say, but like he kind of got up and he didn't seem quite himself. So I was like, oh God, are we going to see Jarrett Stidham? What'd you lose? Kirk Cousins today, right? Some quarterback injuries around the league. Again, I'm watching the Broncos game, so I'm not watching other games as closely. Before the Broncos, yeah, once the Broncos starts, focus there. And obviously, there's a comic book convention today. But either way, like, I look at this situation, I go, Russ, you did it, man. You ended the streak. And if you love Russell Wilson, you love today. But even if you hate Russell Wilson or you're lukewarm on Russell Wilson, I don't think Russ is the guy. I heard that from a big Broncos fan today. Like, I don't think Russ is the guy. Even if you were one of those people, because I don't think Russ and Sean are necessarily on the same page, whatever. Today, Russell Wilson broke the streak. And you can never take that away from him. And it's one of those games where, like, as a Broncos fan, you will remember where you were when the Broncos beat the Chiefs, when a bad Broncos team, because they're still bad, everybody, okay? This win doesn't mean, oh, God, they're going to push for the postseason or whatever. Like, no, they're still a bad football team, but they have heart. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Cortland Sutton has heart. You know what I mean? You saw Baron Browning has heart. PJ Locke has heart, man. Kicking ass on the wild side. You love to see it. Obviously, the Kareem suspension was a big topic of conversation in the locker room this week as Broncos defenders were besides themselves. And Locke himself, we played it on Orange and Blue today. We played the clips from PJ Locke where he's like, I don't know what to do. The league says this is a foul, but they won't tell you how to do things differently when it's a shoulder hit. Like, so that definitely impacted the team this week. It wasn't a distraction at the end of the day. It was motivation. And it's sad that Kareem doesn't get to enjoy this with his teammates because when you're suspended, you have to stay away from the facility. You have to stay away from the team. But having an inspired PJ Locke, you saw the play. Justin Simmons, I tweeted about it. The most important thing ever. Like, Pat Mahomes has to hate Justin Simmons, respect him, but hate him because Justin gets him all the time. And you saw another interception today. Mahomes trying to make a play, whatever, but Justin picked it. Again, taking that's an interception, but no. No. Did he catch it? Was it not his to catch, but then he caught it? That's interception, okay? It's like I feel about coverage sacks. Oh, that's just a coverage sack. Well, yeah, but it's still a sack. He got it done. And that's why, no excuses today. We're going to tell the truth, right? The Judy touchdown was a little, okay? But no excuses, no Kansas City. And then I don't want to hear what had happened was, I really don't want to hear that. What had happened was Pat Mahomes had a tummy ache and he had the flu and Taylor Swift wasn't there. Garbage excuses. If you're on the field and Mahomes had the bloody knuckles, yeah, we've all played bloody knuckles. Get out there. And if you're on the field, you can play. Okay? Because if you're hurt that bad or if you have the flu or whatever, then stay home. Didn't we already learn that? Like, if you're sick, just stay home. Like Mahomes, if you didn't feel good, don't play. Blaine Gabbert can go out there and get waxed. Like, whatever. Like, he was out there. The Broncos beat a Pat Mahomes-led team. The Broncos got after it. The Broncos won. The Broncos played hard. And again, most importantly, they showed heart. The heart that was there. I mean, Cortland Sutton, it's always been there with Court. And the results haven't always been there. And even today, I'll go over the box score with Cortland Sutton. It's 2 for 29. That is nothing to write home about whatsoever, but one touchdown. And by the way, one of those two, the non-touchdown catch, was one of the most impossible catches that you possibly could have in the National Football League. You see the heart from Javonte Williams. 27 carries. He is just a year removed from a major, catastrophic, multi-ligament knee injury. And on October 29th, he gets 27 carries. Are you kidding me? So enjoy the day. I don't want you to get too far ahead and think of then this, and then how about this, and keep it together or tear it apart or whatever. Enjoy the now. Don't get caught up in all that, because Tuesday's going to happen. And Tuesday's going to come and go. That's the trade deadline. The trade deadline's going to come and go, and either they're going to do stuff or they're not going to do stuff. Or they're going to get more now because guys won and Jerry Jeudy had a touchdown, so they're going to get more for him, or they're not. And they're going to trade him or they're not. I don't care about that, because this should taste sweet. This should be what you concentrate on for the now. The other stuff will take care of itself. And yes, there are topics of conversation around it, but this is a post-game show, not a pre-trade deadline show. So this game showed the heart of the Denver Broncos. And Russell Wilson, you saw it with him in court. And knowing more about that relationship, seeing the behind the scenes, Russell Wilson this year has tried to be more one of the fellas, okay? Last year had The Office. Last year, I can name it on one hand of a bad woodshop teacher how many times I saw Russell Wilson in the locker room last year. And I'm there every day. Every day! Like Vic Fangio, right? This year, guess who I see in the locker room every day? Russell Wilson. Guess who I see him dabbing up with his teammates? Guess who I see, Pat Surtain and Russell hanging out? And again, y'all may hate Russell and he's not the answer and Sean Payton doesn't trust him. Yeah, whatever. Because these 40 carries, by the way, this is not the Sean Payton offense either. But we finally saw Sean. I think this game shows a lot about Sean. Sean, thank you. Coach Payton, thank you. Because Coach Payton doesn't want to run 40 times. He's an offensive guy. He wants to pass. And when you're done with that, pass some more. That's what he wants to do. So going out, throwing it 19 times, that's not the recipe for success long term. It was the recipe today. And again, right now, as of this moment, I don't care if Russell Wilson is here or not next year. That does not matter. Because again, it robs ourselves of the happiness right now. Everyone in Broncos country should be over the moon. The other stuff is the other stuff. And so when I see Russell Wilson and Cortland Sutton, and I see that relationship behind the scenes, I'm there. And I see Court and Russ today after the game. And Court has been a big believer. Again, that's support, an ultimate teammate, right? Because not everybody, was it Doug Baldwin or Golden Tate that got around in Seattle, right? And the Russell Wilson story. Which one was it? I think it was Tate. Yeah, was it Golden Tate? Either way, I don't want to get into that because that's a whole other rabbit hole that you can go down on YouTube. But any of his teammates, Richard Sherman can't stop talking about how much he hates him. I think that says more about you, Richard, than it does about Russell Wilson. Russ is who he is. But when you have a friend like Cortland Sutton, I mean, you see it. You see it on the field. You see the connection. You see the heart, right? And you see when the Broncos beat the Chiefs. I'm getting chills. Russell Wilson go over to his pal, Cortland Sutton. And they are like, I can only imagine the words exchanged between these two in a good way, obviously. But they go over and it's that connectivity. Like, this is how you make a team. And again, I don't know if Court's going to be here past Tuesday, but this is how you make a team. I don't know if Russell Wilson's going to be here next year, but this is the connective tissue that builds a team. It's through that bond, us against the world. Nobody expected the Denver Broncos to win. Nobody. Did James Maryland pick and win? I can't remember. This week has been a blur. But either way, nobody except James Maryland predicted the Broncos would win this game. Okay? Nobody. The guys in that locker room believed they could. The guys in that locker room prepared as if they could. And now, with a 2-game win streak, they get to go into a bye. You get to feel good, Broncos country. And that's why I'm not robbing you of being like, well, now they're going to trade, and now they're blah, blah. No. Okay? None of that. When I go to the locker room this week, probably going to be open on a Tuesday. So when I go to the locker room this week on Halloween, my Halloween costume for orange and blue today, you cannot miss that episode. But when I go to the locker room, there is a chance it will look different than when I was in there on Friday. Okay? There's a chance, depending on when it's open. If it's open in the morning, it might look the same. But either way, like the next few times I'm in the Broncos locker room, I may not be talking to the players that I regularly talk to. Today, that doesn't matter. Right now, that doesn't matter. Don't rob yourself of enjoying this win. I was about to say some stuff about Kansas City I shouldn't say. Forget you, Kansas City. Forget you all the way back to Kansas City. And I was at a CU basketball game years ago with my friend Mark Kilburn. Killer, what's up, dude? I hope he's watching. It's good man up there in Bailey. So me and Killer went to Boulder. We watched the CU Buffs beat the Kansas Jayhawks. And Kansas basketball, ask BK, is always a big deal. So as we're walking out and we're just overjoyed, maybe a couple pops, whatever. But as we're walking out, and I was like, hey, just drive east until it smells like crap and you know you're home. So yeah, Kansas City, get out of here. Take the L on the way out. Go, be gone, done with you. All right? So Broncos country. And again, I'm not a Broncos fan. I urge you today, just enjoy it. Tomorrow, you want to talk trade deadline, you want to think about that, go for it. Today, right now, enjoy it responsibly and safely. Enjoy it because this feels good. It will make me sad if and when players are traded, except Jerry Jeudy. I have my reasons. I think you will know what the reasons are. But like, there's also a twinge of sadness that I'm trying to fight off on this show because I'm super happy. The pang of sadness that I have is it could have been different. Again, Sean Payton hasn't really ran what he wants to run anyway. But had Sean Payton dedicated himself to this type of game plan, it would have worked in the Raiders game. It would have worked in the Commanders game. The Commanders got back into the game running the ball, which is very odd from a football 101 standpoint, but that's how they did it. They ran the ball, they got back in the game. So had Sean Payton had the humility to say, you know what? I watched Russ March, April, May, June, little bit of July, August. Man, Russ just can't do what I want. But here's what Russ can do. You set him up with some deep shots, get him a few passes, get him passing about 20 to 25 times a game. If that is your plan going in, you can win, and you would have had 2 more wins had that been your plan. This is a quality win. It's a quality win. What does it mean long term? I don't even care. Okay. And maybe that's not the show you wanted to tune into. Like, what does it mean? Like, I don't care. Right now, I'm excited that they won. I'm excited the streak is over. Can we get something else to talk about? What's the saying from Step Brothers? Like, change the record, right? Change the record. Yeah, can we just done again? I'm sick of Kansas City. I asked on what show was I on? I think it's when I filled in on Friday on Schlereth and Evans, and I was like, "Hey, who's the villain in the NFL?" And people said, "Hey, Baltimore, whatever." And like, okay, yeah, Kansas City is that. Andy Reid's likable. I don't care. I think I was talking with James Merrillat. Like, no. Andy Reid, he's likable. Yeah, I don't care. I'm sick of Andy Reid too. And the State Farm, I'm drawing a mustache on guys. Like, whatever, dude. I'm sick of Pat Mahomes, even though he's a fantastic passer. Like, from a football analyst, I can say I respect the hell out of him. Just from every commercial and all that kind of stuff, like, I'm sick of seeing the Chiefs. We're going to see more of them because they're probably going to win another Super Bowl, but today is the Broncos day, and that's what I really want to emphasize. And going into the show, I didn't know how I'd react. I wasn't expecting this. I did not pick the Broncos to win today. I thought if the Chiefs play Charlie mess around, then you're going to get beat. But in watching this game and seeing the turnovers, and it's not just the Chiefs playing mess around, because they played mess around 2 weeks ago and they won. They were trying to win. They were putting their best foot forward, and Vance Joseph's defense worked. I'm 30 minutes in. First time I mentioned VJ, we're back. Like, Vance Joseph's defense worked when you have the heart of Nick Benito, the heart of Jonathan Cooper, the heart of Baron Browning, obviously Justin Simmons balling out, PJ Locke doing his thing, like, really, really good game. Josie Jewell flying around a bit there, really good things to take away from this Broncos team. I'll praise someone that I rarely praise, because usually I talk about how he was the pick right before Tariq Woolen, and that's Delarian Turner-Yell. But again, going back to special teams, and I've often said, and it is mean, I'll admit it, when I say Delarian Turner-Yell can't play. Well, he can't play defense, but he's a good special teams player, and he might be a very good special teams player. And, when it's a late round pick, again, you're the pick right before Tariq Woolen. That's a bad pick. But when you're a late round pick and you could be a really good special teams player and make a career out of that, I'm happy for him. He's good in the locker room. Like, I'm happy to see him make plays. And that's where special teams came through. Fabian Moreau wasn't perfect. Because Moreau's out there. I mean, you're opposite Shatan, you're going to get picked on. But you saw Jaquan McMillan making plays. Again, not perfect for McMillan, but making plays, getting that pick. Moreau, not perfect, but making plays, knocking passes away. Perfectly timed breakup for Fabian Moreau there in the second half. Who was that on? Was that on Marcus Valdes-Scantling? Either way, just went right for the ball, played the ball. I know Chiefs fans are probably calling for a PI, but it wasn't PI. Moreau doing an excellent job there. Like, you see guys getting it in their roles. And honestly, you see the coaching staff get it, because there's some of these guys. And listen, I like Damari Mathis, but Damari Mathis is not playing good football. That's why he was replaced by Fabian Moreau. Fabian Moreau is not perfect, but he's playing good football. And you like to see that. Jaquan McMillan, we thought, what happens? Williams out there making some plays. No, McMillan's the guy, because Williams shut down, So you see these players that probably should have been playing anyway. You know what I mean? And again, I'm not bagging on the coaching staff. Trust me, I've done plenty of that already this year, because they're deserving of it. But when you get the equation right, football is formulaic. That doesn't mean there's a script. But football, there is a formula to it, and it's getting that equation. Think of it like a chemistry set. I mean, literal chemistry. We're talking about the Cortland Sutton, Russell Wilson thing earlier, right? That's chemistry that's forged behind the scenes. That's chemistry from Russell Wilson actually being a person and not being like this, I'm above the law, like above the team in the office, and like, oh, where's my personal guy? And they said I'm done practicing today, which they had the power to do last year, by the way. Hey, Russ is done. Practice isn't over. Yeah, but Russ is done. We're monitoring. We've got our apps. Russ has been doing this, like his, heartbeat or whatever. Like, nope, Russ is done. Like that happened last year, and it was bad. It was toxic. This year, you see Russell Wilson and a desire to be more involved with his teammates. Does that mean they have their phone number? I don't know. Okay. Does that mean he's, sending out Christmas cards to everybody? I don't know. But I know what I see, and I can tell you and relay what I see. I see Russell Wilson in the locker room every day, Vic Fangio every day, when I didn't see him hardly at all last year. I see him bonding with his teammates, usually over music, which is cool, right? Music is the language of the soul. And where words fail, music speaks. So it's cool to see people share those interests and come together. And usually Russell's playing some soul music, which again is pretty cool, right? But you see him in court bonding. You see him and Pat Surtain bonding. Nate Adkins is over there in the locker room, but Nick Bonito's by him. But you see this happening because of the concentrated effort. And that's what I wanted to get through today on the show. One, enjoy the win. The future is going to be the future. Today, right now, you can enjoy this win. You can enjoy the hell out of this win. But also the concentrated effort from the coaching staff to put together the right game plan, which was don't blitz Mahomes, rally to him, make him hold on to the ball and go sack him, go hit him, go bloody his knuckles. Yeah, go make him hurt. It's cold outside, man. And any of us that have played football in the cold, yeah, I'm going to bring up high school football, knows that the ground hurts when you hit it because it is cold, and the ball hurts when you land on it because it is frozen. So, yeah, go make Pat Mahomes hurt. Was weather an advantage for the Broncos? Yeah, maybe. I mean, just because of the added physicality that you could have. Even when Mahomes is sliding, it still hurts to slide when the turf is a rock. I know they got a heated turf and all that, but whatever. Like when it's just cold and it hurts, your face hurts. I often think that sometimes when I'm shoveling snow because BK won't let me use the snowblower. Like when I'm shoveling snow here in Roxborough and I'm like, why is my face hurting? I'm just shoveling snow. But yeah, when it's this cold and this bitter cold, it hurts to play football. So go make Pat Mahomes hurt. That defensive plan worked. Good job, Vance Joseph. Good job, these Broncos players. We're not going to sit here and make excuses or be like, oh, well, this is why. Like, I don't care. Oh, he had the flu. I don't care. He was out there, right? You got your chin strap on, right? Like, oh, his tummy wasn't feeling good. I don't care if he's pooping his pants. He's out there and you got after him. So good job. The offense, Sean Payton showing the humility that he needed to get this win. And I understand what it means for draft status. And this is the first time in 38 minutes that I'm bringing up that, because there have been plenty of fans like, why do you beat Green Bay? Like, well, you beat Green Bay to build the momentum. And one of the things, as someone who asked that question last week and didn't really know how to feel about it, because I felt like these two games were kind of connected. If you beat Green Bay and then get waxed by the Chiefs, like for who, for what? What does it matter? What does it matter if you beat a bad Green Bay team? You're just hurting your draft stock. Unless you build momentum heading into the bye with a 2-game win streak. And if you can beat Kansas City, especially in the way that they beat them, because again, they kicked their ass. Like you can beat Green Bay, fine. Green Bay's terrible. What can you do against Kansas City? Well, to quote Sweet Home Alabama, do we know Mo? Because the answer is yes. They know momentum. They have the momentum, and I love to see it. So now, enjoy the bye, but enjoy today. For the players, enjoy the bye, and certainly enjoy today. Enjoy the win. For fans out there, though, enjoy this win because it was great. It was fantastic. The turnovers helped. The defense helped. The offense helped. The special teams helped. It was all on point for this Broncos team. And it wasn't a perfect game. That's the other thing, because there are times in football where you can say, yeah, they won, but the ball bounced their way multiple times. The ball didn't bounce their way multiple times. Yet the Broncos went out there and made plays. And this is how you build a team. This is how you build something more important than a team is culture. Again, I don't know how many of these guys are going to be here next year. I don't know how many guys are going to be here in 2 days. But I know when you build this sort of culture, and this goes back to Sean Payton, because Sean Payton has his way and he yells at everybody. I mean, he certainly was yelling at Russell Wilson today. Russ, before the half, right? Like, I'm going to make a play, fumble. Chiefs recover it. Like, yeah, you're pretty mad at Russell Wilson. And Russ was under duress to be sure. So what did coach do? Maybe in spite of Russell Wilson. But what did Coach Payton do? He's like, let's just run the ball. And they ran the ball. And sure, and I've said it before, and it sounds weird when you say it, but I think today is a perfect example. The intent of running the ball is almost more important than the result. Because if I were to tell you the Broncos averaged 3.8 yards a carry, I'm not going to tell you the number of what they got. I'm not going to tell you the number of the carries. If I just say they're going to face the Chiefs and they're only going to average 3.8 a carry, they're going to go up against the Chiefs in week 8 and they're going to have less than 4 yards a carry, you're going to be like, wow, that sucks. But again, end of the game, you just got to grind down the clock. And Javonte Williams is getting tackled behind the line of scrimmage. That's hurting his yards per carry. But it's the intent. They ran the ball at the most important times. When the game was at hand, they didn't go away from it. Now, part of that is Russ can't run what Sean Payton wants to run. But if it leads to this, if they stumble into this somehow, because Sean Payton, for all the things I can say about Sean Payton, and some of them are not good, okay? He is a bit tyrannical, all right? Maybe a lot tyrannical, not just a little bit tyrannical. So some of the stuff I'm going to tell you about Sean Payton isn't real good. It's not real flattering, okay? He's pretty old school, probably a bit too much of a yeller, although football is about overweight men and windbreakers yelling at you. Check, check, and check with Sean Payton. But if you're going to figure it out and you're just like, screw it, I'm just going to run the ball, then this is good. Then this is a good thing. Today is a good day. Today is a great day for Broncos country because you got the win over the Chiefs. The streak is over, and you are winners of 2 in a row going into your bye week, feeling momentum for a Buffalo team that is beatable. There is no doubt. There is no question. And my best friend, Big E, shout out Big E if you're watching, like, he is a Bills fan. We talk about the Bills a lot. Josh Allen, who I love, although I'd like him to cut down on the off-field distractions. Can't talk about that. But, like, I love Josh Allen. He's not playing. He's, like, very good, but he's not great. Like, Pat Mahomes is great. The Broncos just beat a great quarterback today, and that's tough to do. Obviously, he's never lost to the Broncos. So it's tough to do, but the Broncos did it. And Pat Mahomes has been in the league since 2017. Obviously, didn't start until 2018, but still, like, it's been a minute. So now you build momentum going into your bye week. Got 2 weeks to prepare for a very beatable Buffalo team. They did spread the ball around this last week, so maybe that's something they'll do more of going forward. I think that's a recipe for success for Josh Allen. Running less for Josh would be recipe for success. Running the ball with even a Latavius Murray, Damian Harris when he's healthy, like whoever, James Cook even, like they need to run the ball and spread the ball around when they pass. Now, it's not just all about Stephon Diggs. Need more of Khalil Shakir. Need more of Dalton Kincaid. It's not a Bills show, but I'm just telling you, like, this Buffalo team is beatable. Could the Broncos continue to shock the world? I mean, they did it today. And going into this day, 12 hours ago, when I was getting up to drive 2 hours just so I could get to Aurora, 12 hours ago, would I have said it's possible, and anything's possible? KG said that. But would it be likely the Broncos would beat the Chiefs and then have a real good chance against Buffalo? My answer would have been no. 12 hours ago, my answer would have been no. And hopefully the Chiefs don't embarrass them. Guess who got embarrassed? Because it wasn't the Broncos, and it was the Chiefs. They got embarrassed today. The Broncos beat them, and nobody can take that away. So, like, now momentum, now Buffalo, yes, trade deadline, we'll get there, we'll know more. But as of today, as of right now, the Broncos beat the Chiefs, and the streak is concluded. It is done. Gonzo, out of here. Anyway, feel good, Broncos country, because you should. And shout out to everyone behind the scenes. I know the struggling. I know the struggle that Broncos staff has gone through. And I'm talking about coaches, assistant coaches, scouts are pretty much on the road, but like PR staff, communication staff. This year has been incredibly tough for a lot of people that I care about. A lot of good PR people, a lot of good coaches on this team. Some not so good, but still a lot of good coaches, good people, good assistants, working hard, man. Equipment guys, right? Working hard. I feel great for them. I feel great for you in Broncos country because this is a quality win. You just beat a really good team. You just beat the best team in the league. You know, you want to say one of the best of Philadelphia? Yeah, whatever. You just beat the defending Super Bowl champions. You just beat the best team in the league. And you did it handily. You did it going away. It could have been more. So enjoy this win. But I feel great for you, Broncos country. I feel great for the fans. And I feel great for that staff because this season has tested you in ways that I don't think you thought you would be tested by this franchise. It's tested you. Sean Payton is tough to work with. No doubt. There is no question Sean Payton is a bit of a curmudgeon. But if he wins, and you know the results are going to be there in a results-based business, could you take a chewing if it leads to a Super Bowl? Of course. Yeah. As a staff, could you be doing things maybe that you didn't used to do, but now you have to do, but you're winning? Could you do it? Well, yeah. What about when you're losing? What about when you're one of the worst teams in the league? Things get a little tougher. So I feel really good for the staff. Feel really good for the players, especially guys like Courtland Sutton. If you can't tell, I love Court. Court is amazing, and he has heart. Not every receiver on that team has heart. Court does, and that's obvious. You can figure out who doesn't. You probably already know. But either way, I'm sorry if I disappointed you because you wanted me to go off on the trade deadline. None of that crap matters right now. It was a win. It was a win. And the other stuff will work itself out. We'll be here to talk about it. Orange and Blue today, 3:30, Monday through Friday. Cecil Lammey, Andrew Mason. We'll be talking about it during the bye week. Some special like mid-season report card shows coming up. Like really good things to talk about. Obviously, Schlereth and Evans kicking things off. Hell, I think Chad Andrews is still on the air right now. But like, we've got you covered. DenverSports.com. Why don't you go there, sign up for that free daily newsletter. The Denver Sports Daily. Hot and fresh to your inbox every single morning with the top Denver sports news from around all of Denver sports. Broncos, Avs, Nuggets, Rockies, CU Buffs, and more. It's the Denver Sports Daily. It's free, no damn paywall at denversports.com. So check us out, bookmark it, go there every day, go there multiple times a day. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all those social networking channels. And we just appreciate you. Thank you very much, Broncos country. You all won. Now go celebrate again, safely and responsibly. Go celebrate. I'm Cecil Lammey saying thanks, everyone. Stay tuned. And would you please stay frosty?